Hello and welcome, my Google farts. How you doing today? It's Super John Bombo here, and this is my first ever video of Kingdom Rush Frontiers on the Switch. Yeah, on the Switch, baby. Yeah, that's what we're doing today, man. This is a new game for the Switch. Just came out literally yesterday, or today, rather. And basically, all I want to do is I kind of want to start the game off here and just talk about it a little bit. I kind of want to just discuss whether or not you should be getting it for the Switch or not. As you guys probably know, I love Kingdom Rush. I love everything about Kingdom Rush, and maybe that's going to make me a little biased here, so definitely keep that in mind while thinking about this. But basically, I love Kingdom Rush Frontiers. It was actually one of my favorites. I would say that I think that I like... it's like a toss-up between 2 and 3. 1's really good, but I think it's a toss-up between 2 and 3 for me on the best Kingdom Rush. So I'm kind of actually looking forward to seeing 3 as well coming out for the Switch. With all this stuff that we got going on here, please bear with me that I am playing with controllers right now. So when you're talking about the Switch, I think the first thing you need to talk about is whether or not it's playable on the Switch, and or is it different playing on the Switch. And it is. If you're planning on playing on your Switch as a handheld game, that means you can play it as a touchscreen, so it can be very similar to a tablet or your phone. But if you're playing it on a TV, or using the dock itself, then it's going to be a little bit different, because then you are going to be using the controllers instead of using the touchscreen where you can tap certain places. You've got to use the controllers to tell you where you want to go. So you got to go up and down and left and right, and that can be a little bit difficult. On top of that, if you are using the controllers, some of the controls are a little bit difficult to get used to. I'm not going to say they're bad, but they're a little bit difficult to get used to because they use sort of different buttons that I almost never use in most games. I think in most games you use A, B, Y, and X almost always, and then every once in a while, you'll maybe pop in, a little bit of up, down, left, and right on the left-hand joystick. But in this game, you end up using a lot of the left joystick arrows, and that's just uncomfortable for me to use all the time. Every 15 seconds here, you're going to be popping these guys down, the reinforcements. So you got to press the arrow, and then on top of that, you have to actually put it in place. So that means then you have to not only press the arrow, but then you got to use the joystick to move it around to find the place that you want to drop it down. As far as comfortability, it's something that you're going to get used to. It's not something that's bad about the game, but I feel like they could have done a better job making reinforcements Y or X or something like that, just to make it easy for me. Y doesn't do anything. And on top of that, I found it a little bit difficult that you can't change the controls. So if I press the plus button here, these are the options: quit, restart, resume, and then music. If you go to the help button here, R, it shows you all of the stuff, but there's no way to change it. I would have loved to have a way to change it. I guess Y is cancel back, or no, wave info. Like, that's just something we don't really care about all that much. I mean, I would have loved to make that reinforcements or something like that. On top of that, I found another thing that was sort of weird about the controls, that when you control your hero, and or if you're using L and R, it's not the triggers of L and R. It's actually R1 or L1, if you think of it as PlayStation controls, not the triggers. ZL and, what the heck is this? RL? RZ. RZ and LZ. So, to me, that was a little bit goofy. Again, I think that they could have just done a little bit better job with the controls, or at least allowed us to change them. That would have made me much happier as a Switch player. But these are not necessarily complaints. They're just things that I wanted to let you guys know about while you're playing this game that might affect you at least a little bit. Because I think most of you guys that are probably watching my videos are probably not looking at this game as your first buy. I gotta say, if it's your first buy and you've never played Kingdom Rush before, 1,000,000% buy this game. You will love it, especially if you love it on the Switch. But if you already own it on Steam, if you already own it on your phone or your iPad or something like that, it may not be worth it for you to jump in here and just say, you know what, I'm going to waste my money just to go back and play it on a different thing. Some people, that might be fine for them. It might actually be worth it for you more than I can imagine. But for me, I don't think, even as a Kingdom Rush fan who's played it on mobile and then on Steam, I think I would prefer to play it on Steam than playing it on my Switch. So I do want to throw that out there for you guys. mostly because the controls are different for me, and I think it's not just different in a different way, but it's different in an almost negative way. All right, so what we got next is another thing is if you got to use your Rain of Fire, which I use all the time, obviously. It's my favorite ability in the game, obviously. Maybe not obviously, but it is. It's my favorite ability in the game by far. And even more uncomfortable than in Reinforcements to use, because you have to press the left arrow, which is so far down on the Switch controller here, that it's just difficult to get your thumb all the way down there, and then move your thumb all the way back up. So that's just my, again, 2 cents here. If you guys have a different experience in the comments below, if you've already gotten the game and you want to throw your input down, I'm sure other people would really appreciate it. So throw that down for all of us, all right? It's going to help everybody out in deciding if they want to buy the game or whatnot. Anyways, really not a good guide video for you guys. Just wanted to throw down that you can just build magic towers throughout this entire thing and pretty much dominate this. I didn't even really use my hero either. In the next video, I'm going to go for more of a tutorial aspect of the game and talk a little bit more about gameplay, actually, and what kind of towers you should be using, what are the best strategies and all that stuff, kind of getting into the game more than just talking about the Switch version itself. So if you guys want to pay attention, make sure you press that like button and make sure you subscribe so you can get more stuff over here, alright? Again, this is my first ever recording of a Switch, so if anything gets messed up, I apologize, but thanks so much for watching, guys, and of course, have a super duper delicious day.